Everyone knows the saying, don't drink and drive, and yet it seems every time that you turn around, someone is being pulled over for a DUI, or they're being carted off to the hospital with unimaginable injuries. So why do we, knowing that the consequences can be dire, do it? It all starts the same. A single alcoholic beverage is consumed, followed by another, and then another. After a while, you can't recall how many you've had to drink. Your vision is impaired, your reaction times are slowed, and worse yet, your judgment is decimated. My father is a well-educated, grown man who knows that drinking and driving is dangerous, and yet he chose to do it all the same. He must have thought himself invincible, for he climbed onto the back of his motorcycle after throwing back a couple of beers at a friend's house. They had plans to meet up at his home so they could all ride in his truck to another location. He drove off down the road, not acknowledging the danger he was putting himself and others in. My aunt, who had gone out with her boyfriend for a night on the town, spent the evening downing shots and playing pool at a local pub. Instead of employing a friend as a designated driver or calling someone they knew to pick them up, they both climbed into her pickup truck to head home, both unaware of the tragedy waiting down the road. My father says he has no recollection of what happened after leaving his friend's house. He recounts the story with a simple shake of his head, telling me that his friends found him on their way to his home, pushing his broken motorcycle down the road, with blood all over his shirt. They immediately rushed him to the hospital, where the doctors stitched him up and told him he was lucky to be alive. He had sustained damage to his neck when he drove into the underpass wall, cutting arteries and tearing his flesh apart. His only memory is waking up the next morning sore, his face sticking to the fabric of his blood-soaked pillow. My father would have been dead had he not been wearing his helmet. Not everyone, though, is so lucky. My aunt lost control of her truck when the vehicle drifted off the road. The truck rolled. As it turned on its top, the door came ajar. As it rolled back onto its tires, my aunt was tossed towards the window. As it started a second roll, her head became lodged between the doorframe and the door. As it finished the second roll, the force crushed my aunt's skull. In the aftermath, my aunt's boyfriend freed himself from the wreckage and found her among the grass, dying. In his inebriated stupor, he left her there alone and walked home, where he called the police before passing out in their bed. She died before anyone could reach her. She died alone, leaving behind a little boy, 3 years of age, who woke up in the morning searching for her. Death and destruction may not happen the first time someone decides to get behind the wheel intoxicated, but eventually it's inevitable.